After 30 years of growing tomatoes and countless seasons of both triumphs and heartbreaks, I've learned that the juiciest, most flavorful tomatoes come from understanding what these sun-loving plants truly need. Too many gardeners get caught up in complicated methods when the real secrets are surprisingly straightforward. Let me share the hard-earned wisdom that has transformed my tomato harvest from disappointing to absolutely spectacular. Give your tomatoes a full day in the sun. The foundation of juicy tomatoes starts with sunlight, and I mean serious sunlight. Your tomato plants need 7 to 8 hours of direct, unfiltered sun every single day. I've watched gardeners struggle with leggy plants and small, pale fruits simply because they planted in a spot that seemed sunny but only received morning light or dappled afternoon shade. Choose the sunniest spot in your garden, even if it means rearranging other plants. Tomatoes are sun worshippers, and skimping on this requirement will cost you dearly in both flavor and yield. If you're gardening in containers, move them throughout the season to follow the sun as it shifts. The difference between 6 hours and 8 hours of sun is the difference between mediocre tomatoes and extraordinary ones. Test your soil and feed it right. Before you plant a single seedling, get your soil tested. I learned this lesson the hard way after years of wondering why my neighbor's tomatoes always outperformed mine. Tomatoes thrive in slightly acidic soil with a pH between 6.0 and 6.8, and they're heavy feeders that need rich, well-draining earth. Once you know your soil's baseline, amend it generously with compost and aged manure. Work these amendments into the top 12 inches of soil, creating a nutrient-rich foundation that will sustain your plants throughout the growing season. This upfront investment in soil quality pays dividends in every single tomato you harvest. Choose fertilizer like your harvest depends on it. Not all fertilizers are created equal, and tomatoes have specific nutritional needs that generic plant foods simply can't meet. Invest in a high-quality vegetable fertilizer designed specifically for tomatoes and peppers. These formulations typically have lower nitrogen content in the beginning to prevent excessive leaf growth at the expense of fruit production. Apply fertilizer according to package directions when transplanting, then switch to a bloom booster formula once flowers appear. I've found that consistent, moderate feeding produces better results than heavy applications followed by periods of neglect. Your tomatoes should receive steady nutrition throughout the growing season, not feast or famine cycles. Water like you mean it. Inconsistent watering is the fastest way to ruin a promising tomato crop. These plants need deep, thorough watering at least twice per week, more during hot, dry periods. The goal is to maintain consistent soil moisture without waterlogging the roots. Water at the base of the plant, avoiding the leaves entirely to prevent disease. I use a soaker hose or drip irrigation system to deliver water slowly and deeply, encouraging roots to grow down rather than staying shallow. When you water, soak the soil to a depth of at least 8 inches. Light, frequent watering creates weak root systems and stressed plants that produce tough, bland fruit. Mulch for moisture and more. A thick layer of organic mulch around your tomato plants is like an insurance policy for your harvest. Apply 3 to 4 inches of straw, shredded leaves, or grass clippings around each plant, keeping the mulch a few inches away from the stem to prevent pest problems. Mulch retains soil moisture, suppresses weeds, and moderates soil temperature swings that can stress plants. As organic mulch breaks down, it feeds the soil and creates the perfect environment for beneficial microorganisms. This simple step can reduce your watering needs by half while dramatically improving fruit quality. Master the art of pruning suckers. Those little shoots that emerge between the main stem and branches aren't innocent bystanders. They're energy thieves called suckers. Learning to identify and remove these growths will redirect your plant's energy into producing larger, more flavorful tomatoes. Check your plants weekly and pinch out suckers when they're small and tender. Use your fingernails or clean pruning shears, and always prune in the morning when plants are well hydrated. Focus on removing suckers below the first flower cluster and any that emerge in the crotch between main branches. Plant deep for strong foundations. Here's a secret that many gardeners never learn. Tomatoes can develop roots along their buried stems, creating stronger, more resilient plants. When transplanting seedlings, bury them deeply, leaving only the top few sets of leaves above ground. This technique works because tomato stems have dormant root nodes that activate when buried. The result is a more robust root system that can support larger plants and heavier fruit loads. Strip off the lower leaves before planting, and don't worry about the buried stem. It will become part of the root system within weeks. Help nature with pollination. While tomatoes are self-pollinating, they benefit tremendously from a little assistance, especially during periods of high humidity or still air. Gently shake the flower clusters daily, or use a small paintbrush to transfer pollen between flowers. The best time for pollination assistance is mid-morning when flowers are fully open and pollen is most viable. This simple technique can dramatically increase fruit set, especially on indeterminate varieties that produce flowers continuously throughout the season. Ready to grow the most incredible tomatoes of your life? Subscribe to Dirt Decoded for more practical gardening wisdom that actually works. Share this video with fellow gardeners who deserve better tomatoes and tell us in the comments about your own tomato growing victories and challenges. We love hearing your stories and learning from your experiences.